Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Nick Talks. And today, I kind of want to keep with the same theme as last week. I don't know if you could tell from the video itself, but last week was kind of a quickie in terms of, I was like, oh shit, I gotta fucking record a video, and just kind of pumped one out. But I think that there's some stuff in there that I'd like to expand on, and that is, last week's video was the prioritizing health and why it doesn't make sense to focus less on health when it's the most important thing. But I just wanted to kind of focus on prioritization in general and being able to focus on what is important. Not only how to determine what is important, but how to completely focus on that thing or those things that you have deemed the most important in your life. And this is pretty relevant right now. I was just having conversations with a whole bunch of people actually on the fact that, essentially I'm basing my future on, hope everybody's doing great, by the way, thanks for tuning in. I'm basically basing my entire future on the success of my personal brand, which part of which is YouTube, right? And yet I have been treating it recently, not all of the time, but very recently, for the last few months anyways, as a passive endeavor, which makes no sense. Essentially, the main Nick things are, I want to be free from the establishment. I want to determine what my day looks like because of what I say it is, not what the system does, right? And I don't want to give my time to the man, and I want to be making money based on something that I love rather than something I have to do. And these are the big things, and all of these are solved by the entrepreneurship journey, which expands even greater than YouTube. And so it makes no sense why I would let it take any position in my cognitive lineup of important tasks other than first. It makes no sense why it should be anything other than first. Maybe second to health, if we want to zoom back to last week. But it shouldn't be anywhere out of the top three. And that makes no sense, and yet that's what it has been. And so I think that, examining how I go about, how I structure my mind and how I structure my time is even more important than I thought that it was. And, I can talk a big game all day long and tell people that are close to me, yeah, I really want this YouTube thing to pay off. I really want to make this happen. I really want to free myself from the system. But if I'm not doing it, they're just words. And that's not who I want to be at all. You know what I mean? So I think that learning how to prioritize correctly and stick to that system is even more key than I had originally imagined, in the sense that, what are the things that are most important to me? My fitness, my health, my body, my physique, my mind, and my business, my money. And so if my attention is straying too heavily to things that do not support those things, then it makes no sense for me to be doing those things. Now, I can indulge occasionally. There's nothing wrong with taking a break, some free time, but not to the extent. It's essentially they say good writing is, you have three basic premises. You have things that improve your understanding of the character. So character development, you have plot development, and you have world building, right? And a good writer can do multiple or sometimes all three of these things at the same time. And essentially this is the same thing. So, anything that's not those three is pretty useless. Sometimes it is effective to include things that are not any of those three, but rarely is it better than just focusing on what is really important to the story. And in this case, your personal story is, you deem what are the top three things that are most important to your story, what are most important to your life going in the direction you want it to go. And everything else can take a back seat. So if I'm spending too much time focusing on some dumb podcast that I find entertaining, but in no way enlightens me or gets me closer to my goals, then I shouldn't be consuming that at a rate that exceeds how much I'm working on my business, how much I'm learning about health, how much I'm, exercising or trying to figure out a way to make money, right? And so I think that this is something that is extremely applicable and so obvious, like this isn't like some groundbreaking stuff. I'm not, a modern prophet out here. This is like so obvious, and yet it escapes me so easily to where I just let my mind wander. And I think, there's a clip that stays with me from The Dog Whisperer, actually. It was an interview that I think Ed Milet did with, his name's Caesar or something. He's the guy from The Dog Whisperer. And he's like, so what did it take for you to become successful in this business? And without missing a beat, he responds, focus. Focus is the only thing that matters. And I was like, wow, holy shit. Like, and he like did not blink. He was so firm in his conviction that this is the answer. It's like, okay, there's something there, obviously. And I find that to be increasingly true where, as they say, you get out what you put in. And I just haven't been putting in I know when I'm working hard, and I haven't been working that hard is the thing. Like I can be doing so much more, and I think that it's so inappropriate that I've let it take a back seat. And so I think that I can learn from this, and hopefully this is, helpful to somebody else as well. That just, dude, nearly everything that we allow to fill our daily schedule is meaningless to the ultimate goal. Now, once you make it to a certain place, maybe you can relax more. But if I'm still worried about making sure my bills are paid or making sure that like I have ample income, like if I'm worried about basic stuff, then I shouldn't be taking a break. It is grind time. It is not the time to be relaxed. It's not the time for a vacation. And this kind of also piggybacks on the thing that I mentioned in a weekly update not that long ago about how whenever things are going good, I take my foot off the gas and I just let it coast, right? Or even touch the brakes a little bit. And it just makes no logical sense why that would be the case. I think that re-examining how we structure our lives and how we go about pursuing what we want. We can say to ourselves and others all day long that like, I really want this. I really want success as I define it. I really want more money. I really want to be smarter. I really want to be more fit. But then pursuing it half-ass, you don't really want it, Like I remember having conversations with people who were like, would talk to me, they would congratulate me on some, gym milestone after I would be talking to them about it. And they're like, oh yeah, I was getting close, but I really want to work out more, but I just can't right now. And it's like, well, then you don't really want it. That's just the raw truth of it. And there's plenty of excuses in the book, but if you want something to happen, you'll make time to make it happen. And that's the only way that dreams will become fulfilled, is if you make them happen, if you grip reality and push it to where you want it to go, right? And so I think that just the ultimate takeaway is that prioritizing what is truly the most important thing and tackling that with all of your energy, and then any leftover energy is free to be spent wherever you want it to be. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a drink or playing some video games or watching movies or binging a podcast that is in no way helpful, but doing so after the work is done. Hard, easy, the work always comes first. And when you're young and your life is structured around school, it's easier to do that because there are deadlines that are imposed by the structure around you. But once you leave the system, you have to do that yourself, and it's not an easy task, and it's a method of being that has to be trained, a skill, a discipline that has to be developed. And if the work is not put in, you can create your life so that the discipline is second nature. It's like breathing, that you're going to get it done, that you don't even think about going to the gym, you just go. You don't even think about working on your projects, you just do, right? But that has to be trained first, and you have to overcome that initial inertia, the slag of the beginning, and just push through that. And then once the ball is rolling, it's a lot easier to continue. But that's little short Wednesday wisdom coming at you. Is just like it's so painfully obvious that the work that is not being done is the work that is hurting you the most. The work that is not being done is the work that would push you the furthest into where you want to be and who you want to become. So that's all I got today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Good luck on your endeavors. Let me know how everything's going, and I will see you on the next one. Nick out.